Hey folks, welcome back to another episode of Straight Talk Whiskey. I'm Nick here with you as always, and thanks for joining us for episode number 95, and a Happy New Year to you as well. So, what I've decided to do for the next month and a half is review several different expressions from Jim Beam. Now, it's about as iconic American as you can get. They've been around for 200 plus years. And just like Jack Daniels, it's a name that's synonymous with almost every single person. The only people who might not be familiar with the Jim Beam name are some of those New Year's babies. But even them were probably conceived as a result of Jim Beam, but we won't go too much further than that. So, what we've got here, Jim Beam Kentucky Straight Bourbon. So, that means it's been aged for at least 2 years. But they actually do twice that, and it's aged for a minimum of 4 years. It says so on the bottle. They've actually, if you'll notice this bottle, if this takes you by surprise a little bit, they have undergone a rebranding, if you will, to bring Jim Beam into the next phase, the modern age. And so they've got a little bit more eye-catchingly intriguing designs, a little more loud and in your face, all in a good way. But you've still got some of the classics that are on here. So you've got, there it is, all of the 7 master distillers that have been at Beam. So yeah, going back to 1795 as it will. So let's talk about price. So 750 milliliter bottle went right into the store, got it for $14.99. So that was it's an unbelievable deal. A lot of times this is going to be your well bourbon in most bars, but it's actually a really great whiskey in and of itself. And they make a point that it is, Kentucky straight bourbon, and that's what it is. It's not a Tennessee whiskey, it's not, any other American whiskey category. It is, the iconic American or Kentucky straight bourbon. So, in terms of fermentation, they use a yeast strain that is their own proprietary strain that dates back to just after the end of Prohibition. So we're talking about 75 years or so in there. And obviously, with bourbon, it's at least 51% corn. And so, without further ado, let's get straight into it. Now, when you look at the color, it's got a very light gold to it. It doesn't take on much mahogany as a lot of other bourbons do, but it's more of a really muted coppery tone in there. And so, after we get done with multiple different expressions, and I'm not going to do just Kentucky bourbons, but they also have rye out there, and they have some flavored whiskeys. Because remember, to be a bourbon, it can't have any colorant added to it. It can't have any flavoring added to it. You can do that at home, but for it legally to be a Kentucky bourbon, you can't have that stuff added to it. It becomes an entirely different category of spirit. So, let's go in for the nose. First thing that comes off is just that beautiful new oak smell, a little bit of charred oak, that wood smoke from a nice fire. You've got a lot of corn forward aromas coming off of there. Really sweet corn, summery, really good fragrance going on in there. So let's go in for the taste. People like Jim Beam, the Jack Daniels, the Johnny Walker, those sort of things that are synonymous with a lot of people as being, the staple Scotch, the staple bourbon, the staple Tennessee whiskey. is not because of not just because of great marketing or, you know, it's been around for a while, but the stuff in the glass tastes great, and it tastes great for a lot of people. And that's the thing that you have to remember with this. I'm not trying to be snobbish about it and say, you know, really critique it in nuance and pit it up against other things that are out there, because this is the every man's drink, the every person's drink, to be politically correct or whatever. I don't really care. But anyway, this is going to appeal to a lot of people because you can do so many things with it. You could do as I do and just drink it neat, and that's fine. You could sip it for hours if you wanted to, and it fills a need. When you go to bars, when you're mixing drinks and that sort of thing, again, it's a great Kentucky bourbon for that. It's also good if you want to add some other things into it, like Coca-Cola or that sort of thing. I don't really do that, but that's just a personal preference. But that's what this is for. It is so versatile in its use, and that's why it can appeal to so many people, and why it's so popular, and why the global demand for it is ever increasing. So, there you go with that. When you first taste it, it comes off, and I know I say this a lot, that the word goes around overly so on advertising and such, but smooth. The mouthfeel is so smooth, and the entry on this is just super clean. It's got a lot of those corn forward notes, sweet corn, not a lot of the pepperiness that you may get in, say, Jack Daniels or anything like that, but you get a really charcoal smoothness out of it. Those 4 years in there gives it a lot of great flavors from that oak. You get some toasted oak flavors, you're getting vanilla and a little bit of caramel, but it's all delivered in a really smooth, even flowing, you know, just chill package. There's nothing that is overly biting about it. Again, I don't think I said, but, you know, 40% ABV, as you might have guessed, so 80 proof. It's not gonna, you know, kill your palate. It's not going to make people, you know, twist their face up at it because of the alcohol bite in it. You're not getting that. You're getting something that's palatable. Again, reaching as many people as possible. That's what you have here. The finish, it's not overtly long, but that's okay. It's really got a great flavor to it. It's a great whiskey just to keep as your, for some people, a daily drinker. You know, they just want a drink with dinner or after dinner or before bed or something like that. It's also great to keep around for when you have guests, because taste-wise, it's great. But also, that price tag is the bigger thing. So as more and more people, you know, come to get a drink or something like that when they're over, you know, that $14.99 isn't going to set you back as much as something else that you might really enjoy that's, you know, a lot steeper price. So, there you have it. Short, sweet, and to the point. That's what it's going to be for the next, 5-6 weeks that we have of these. And look forward to doing those videos for you. Again, if you're going to drink responsibly, as always, and see you next time.